everyone, in order to make this, we'll start off by putting the needles together and then afterwards begin to loop it around, that is, begin to loop the thread around the needles multiple number of times. As you can see, we have added 2 of them to add more width to it as such. Then remove one of them, pull it through and then arrange the sides as need be. Now after this, once again, put one of the needles through and then put the other one in for support, and then slowly begin to loop the thread around the needle as such repeatedly. As you continue to do so, go about halfway through and then pull the thread through the needle. Afterwards, arrange it in the side, make the leaves appear on either side as well, and then there you have it. Next, we'll start off by taking the spanned leg and then afterwards make these folds to it as such. Put the thread through it and then afterwards begin to stitch it up. Now as you can see, we have made one loop and then we are separating the thread, and then afterwards we are taking each side of the thread and then repeatedly looping it around the needle. Do this multiple number of times until you get a substantial distance along in the needle. Now as you continue to do it, this is what it should look like. Once you are done with a substantial amount, then pull it through and then adjust the main part of it in the middle as such. It'll be like a decorative scrunch. Tie a knot to it once you're done with it. Next, take the sock and then slowly begin to make a loop stitch out of it as such. In order to do so, put the needle through, then put it in between the 2 threads, that is if it has a double layer, and then afterwards pull it through. Continue to do so. Go from one side to the other, and as you do so, you'll be closing the opening of this as such, that is of the sock. Now finally, once you're done with it, then you may tie a knot to it and then you will be done with it. As you can see though, we are going entirely to the other end as such. If you want, you can also start at the beginning end. Next, begin by threading this needle, then take a beauty blender and then make this double line straight dots onto it as such. Now, slowly begin to put the thread and needle from underneath and then stitch it through as such. Make these double stitches where you go from one point to the other as such and continue to do so. Put it through the thread as you are pulling the needle through, and this will give you a moon loop stitch. Now as you can see, we are going from the bottom point to the upper point as such. We are going alternatively and we are taking 2 holes at a time. As we continue to do this, this is what it should look like. And then finally, tie a knot to it once you're done. You may go backwards now and then you may do so by putting the needle through from the back. Now undo all of the stitches. Pull it tight together, and after you do so, then the stitches will be present but it will not be visible. Next, take this turtleneck and then slowly begin to stitch it through as such. Make these diagonal stitches to it. It will be like a downward V shape. Now as you continue to do so, then move from one side to the other. We'll be making these horizontal stitches in order to get this downward facing V shape. In the front, it'll look like this. However, at the back, it'll consist of 2 horizontal lines. Now continue to go from one side to the other. Make sure that the height you're going for is as even as possible and do not try to exceed it as much as you can. Now, after this, make sure that you're doing it just as tight and just as neat throughout. Finally, tie a knot once you're done with it. This is what it'll look at from the back. Thank you for watching.